So, Rich, what do you think are the reasons why there are a lot of expats who come here to the Philippines but end up going back to their home country?
Trying to come here and impress women. They're trying to spend money they don't have, and they're trying to lead with money, and that's it. And they're so worried about getting that woman, and they think they have to lead with money, so that's what they do to get the woman. And they don't understand. Not only are they going to be broke, but they're not going to get the woman either, because if you lead with money, you're not getting the woman. If you come here and you lead with money, you are not going to keep that woman. Yeah.
You heard him. Hey Rich, while I was watching YouTube, I saw a content creator who said he's going back to his home country. Why do you think a lot of expats come here to the Philippines but end up going back to their home country?
Well, Ching, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of reasons why expats come here and they decide to go back to their home country. Let's talk about those reasons in this video.
Yeah?
What do you think, Ching?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
But before we get into that, welcome back to Richie Rich Abroad. I'm your host, Richie Rich.
And this is Cheng. In today's video, we are going to talk about the reasons why expats come here to the Philippines but end up going back to their home country. But before we continue, don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get updated on our latest videos.
And leave your comments below. You know we like to read them and we like to respond too.
Yeah, that's correct.
And as long as Ching is on the set, there's always going to be a whole bunch of bloopers and outtakes just for you guys at the end of this video.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, Ching, kick the intro. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Going by trike. Here we go.
So, Rich, what do you think are the reasons why there are a lot of expats who come here to the Philippines but end up going back to their home country?
I think there's a whole bunch of reasons. I think one of the reasons is some people find it hard to adapt to living in a third world country. I know, sorry, you guys call it a developing country if it makes you feel better. It's a third world country. But I think a lot of expats have a hard time adapting to living in a developing country. It's just that simple. They're used to having a lot of modern things and a modern lifestyle, and it's hard for them to adapt. It's hard for them to get used to doing things that they didn't have to do in a modern world.
Too difficult to adapt to, the technology that we have here, because definitely
the lack of
technology, because it's a lot outdated here, if we will put it that way. Yeah?
Exactly.
So what about language barriers? Do you think that it's one reason why a lot of expats go back to their home country? I mean, for me, I think that, even if English is widely spoken here in the Philippines, there's a lot of dialects in so many provinces, and a lot of expats can catch up with this.
I don't think that's it. I think enough people speak English. I think there's some cultural gaps or some cultural problems that people have a hard time getting used to. When I lived in China, it's really different having to adapt everything to a society that is far behind your own, or that you deem as far behind your own. It's not so easy, and a lot of people struggle. I struggled with it. I struggled to adapting in China. Adapted easily in Japan, but I struggled adapting in China. I really, really did. So I get it. Some people just don't have what it takes, and it's too difficult for them.
Yeah, so you think it's like more frustrating and disappointing adapting to a society or
I think there's an arrogance in Western culture that we always think people are supposed to adapt to us instead of the other way around. You're the person who needs to change. And a lot of people can't do it. Especially in light of the fact that a lot of people that come here are older guys, and they're set in their ways.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough to adjust. It's tough to make changes. And you have to do that when you come here.
Yeah, so whenever you come here, you need to have like an open mind that I'm.
You have to have a really open mind.
Yeah. How about expectations? Do you think that their expectations are somehow unrealistic?
Sometimes, yeah. I think sometimes people come here, they expect this crazy life. I think a lot of guys come here and they have this Disney attitude of what is going to be like, and they think they're going to come here, be fat, sloppy, not taking care of themselves, and they're going to land a runway model. And they get here and they quickly find out it ain't going to work that way. There's competition from other foreigners. There's new foreigners coming every day, and if you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to get the bottom of the barrel. You're going to get, as my man JC Mack calls it, the low-hanging fruit, if you get anything at all.
I mean, there are a lot of YouTubers who would tell the truth about, what you should have or what you should set right.
They don't listen.
Yeah, I mean, they don't listen, but there are also content creators that like sell the dream to this expat that when you come to the Philippines, it's like they're selling it like it's paradise when it's not close to paradise.
Well, I mean, I think it can be. I think your life is what you make it. But I think if you think you're going to come here on a limited income, on a retirement income, and you're going to be hanging out at the beaches and drinking pina coladas every day and all of that, I don't think it's going to be like that. And especially because you're retired, you're not going to be working, you have a pension as your income, and so you have a set income, and you can't afford all of that.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that family tension has a lot to do with expats moving back to their home country, because the Filipina and expat partnerships, in most relationships, a lot of the families interfere with their relationships. So a lot of times the family members like ask money from the expat, and also they keep asking for favors from the expat, and of course that will affect the relationship of the Filipina and the expat with the family members.
What if it was me? And sometimes maybe they just don't even get along. Maybe they don't even like each other. And here in the Philippines, the girl is always gonna side with her family. Like 99.9% of the time, she's gonna side with her family, and her family's gonna be whispering in her ear, and they're gonna be saying, if mom doesn't like something or dad doesn't like something about you, you're doomed. You're doomed, and they're gonna do everything they can to jack up your relationship. So you may as well start packing your bags anyway.
I don't think like everybody's perfect. I mean, there's one.
No, I don't think anybody's perfect either.
Yeah, there's at least one or two traits that another person won't like about you, or maybe more than two traits that a person won't like about you. But you just keep or make the relationship work anyway.
Okay, thanks, Cheng.
A lot of expats who come here, majority of the expats who come here are like in the senior year or on the fourth quarter, as you may call it. Now, do you think that the healthcare concerns also affects or is one reason why they go back to their home country?
There's many people that went back to their home country because they had some kind of healthcare scare, some kind of something that happened, and they ended up in the hospital over here, and it was no joke. And it was no joke. That's when you start realizing the difference between being in a first world country and a third world country, or a developing country, as you guys want to call it.
Yeah.
When COVID happened, it scared the hell out of me. People were dropping dead all over the place. And the one thing I was like, no, if I'm gonna die, I'm not dying over here in China. Yeah. So it definitely matters.
How about being alone? I mean, there are a lot of expats who find a partner and end up, being with a partner, but also there's a huge number of expats who end up being alone or lonely. What do you think?
I don't know. I can't speak for the ones. I'm sure. I think there's a lot of cats who come here and they don't have great social skills. They're kind of socially awkward. We have subscribers like that. So I think there's a lot of cats that come here, they're socially awkward, and it shows up here. They think that they're going to leave that behind where they came from. No, wherever you go, there you are. And I think people come here and they end up being alone here because they're still socially awkward. People still find them kind of weird and don't want to be around them or just get a weird or negative vibe from them.
Yeah. I think also one of the reasons why a lot of expats go back to their home country is that they get frustrated in finding a partner. I think they spend 1 or 2 years having that emotional or social or romantic connection with a woman, but eventually they get disappointed with what they have, and then just I'm just gonna leave it here and then go back to my home country. What do you think?
I think that has a lot to do with it too. I think a lot of people come here, they have this Disney fairy tale idea of the relationship they think they're going to be in. A lot of times cats will come here and they've been talking to somebody online already. And she turns out 90% of the time, she turns out to be completely different, or somebody completely different than who he thought she was going to be. It doesn't work out. And so you end up cold busting because you thought you already had one waiting for you. And you did, but she wasn't the one. So now you got to start all over from scratch. I think it's tough. It's tough for some dudes. Some dudes are older. They put a lot of expectations, put a lot of money, and they spend a lot of money on these women. They do a lot of stuff, a lot of favors, put them through school or whatever, and then they got to start all over. They end up being bitter. They end up being bitter and angry, and some dudes even end up more bitter than they were when they got here.
I mean, it's tough to find a person whom you can connect with, especially online, because it's totally, just like what you said, it's totally different when you see them or meet them face to face.
Right.
So how about a lot of cultural misunderstanding? Do you think a lot of expats go home because there's a lot of difference in the culture that they would just rather go home?
Maybe some dudes just can't take it. Things are a lot slower here. There's not, the infrastructure is different. You got to wait in line longer at Lawson at 7-Eleven. You might have to be there for 20 minutes at McDonald's. You can be there for half an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe. Some people, they're used to what they're used to. Bank lines, government buildings, or whatever. Things are just different here, and a lot of guys just can't take it. Again, a lot of old dudes move here, and they just can't take it. It's different. Things are slower, and people take their time doing stuff, and I think a lot of cats just can't take it.
And now about lying, like they encounter women who lie about having kids, being married.
Is it just women that lie here?
Oh, no, maybe not.
I think a lot of people lie here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah, people, I mean, that can be frustrating, especially if you come from the West. And I'm not saying people from the West don't lie, because I think everybody lies. But I think it's the things people lie about here that are really, that I think it's difficult to understand. I really think it's difficult, especially if you're trying to have relationships with people. You're trying to create close-knit relationships with people, and you catch them in these lies, and then you can't call them out, because then that's going to be confrontational, and then that's going to create a whole other problem because they got caught in a lie. Now they lose face, and it's just a hot mess. And yeah, it could be a reason. It could be a reason. Yeah, because it definitely does happen. Yeah.
So what about expectations financially? Do you think that a lot of expats get, pressured from gift giving when there are occasions in the family circle of the Filipina? What do you think?
I think there's some cats who just don't know how to say no, and so they feel too much pressure. Oh, they're always asking me for this or that. Just say no, bruh. I mean, just say no. If you don't have it, you don't have it, whether you have it or not. It's up to you. If you don't want to give it, don't give it. If you do, then do. But it's up to you. It doesn't matter people pressuring you. If you set boundaries, people will stop. It's just that simple.
I mean, they would always ask.
People are going to ask. They're going to keep asking.
Yeah. If you continue giving it, they will continue taking it.
I would. If you're just one of those suckers who can't say no because you feel bad, or because you want to save everybody. Oh, I want to save everybody. Look at me. Then I think you're going to struggle here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, people everywhere. I mean, I'll walk down the street and somebody will have their asking me for money.
At least do something.
Do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earn it. Put some energy.
Yeah, put some effort into it. Damn.
Yeah. Remember the one at Shaw Boulevard who's like
Yeah,
doing
look, yeah. I'm like
doing the violin without in tune. He's not in tune, but he keeps.
Yeah, he looked like he was playing it. I respect the gimmick. I respect his hustle. Did I give him money?
No,
I don't think
because he's too funny.
Yeah.
Because he was like doing the artistic violinist,
like
and then
really
he's
playing.
into his feelings.
Right.
But
I probably should have given him money. The last reason I think that a lot of cats, I've had a lot of cats ask me, "Hey, Rich, what can I do for a job? What can I come there and get a job?" Look, fellas, you're not coming here and getting a job. The chance of you coming here and getting a job here in the Philippines is almost zero. You're not going to get a work permit. You're not going to take jobs away from Filipino people. So you need to come here with a job. That means if you're going to become a YouTuber, then be a YouTuber. If you're going to do something else, teach English. Some cats come here and they teach English. Some people are digital nomads. They do their own thing. If you want some ideas about what you can do or how you can get a job online or working from home, hit me up. But I think a lot of cats come here and they have all these grandiose ideas about working, about getting a job, and they come in and they can't get a job. You was never going to get a job here, dude. Never. You're not taking jobs away from Filipino people. They were working on a limited budget, and now they're almost down to zero, and they don't have no savings. So they're cold busting. They got to go home.
And also, there's a lot of Filipinos who doesn't have a job already. So there's less opportunities for Filipinos. Then that makes it less opportunities for expats as well. Why not bring your job here?
Maybe they don't have a job to bring.
Maybe. I'm just saying that could be an option too. But that's a good point, that a lot of expats go back to their home country, because even if the cost of living here is low, then definitely
it still costs money.
Yeah, it still costs money.
It still costs money. Yeah, just because it's low, it still costs money. And if you don't have a savings, your savings are going to run dry.
Yeah.
Especially for cats who come here and they're trying to date. They're trying to impress women. They're throwing money on doing this and taking them on these lavish trips and spending hundreds and thousands of dollars and all of that. And they're living on a limited income. And they're taking money from their savings to do that. They don't understand in a year,
they'll go broke.
Yeah, your ass is broke. Like, that happens all the time. It's like, I don't understand, dude. You can't count? Count.
Yeah, they get overwhelmed because the cost of living here is low. That's why they spend lavishly.
I don't think they're trying to impress women. Trying to come here and impress women. They're trying to spend money they don't have. And they're trying to lead with money. And they don't understand, not only are they going to be broke, but they're not going to get the woman either. Because if you lead with money, you're not getting the woman. If you come here and you lead with money, you are not going to keep that woman. There.
You heard him.
Yeah, I don't know how many times. I don't know. I've heard every single content creator say the same thing. We all say the same thing, but people come here and they still do it. They still do it. It makes me crazy, dude. People come here and start spending up money. Like they have a boatload of it.
Anyway, let us know what you think. Leave your comments below.
What do you guys think are the main reasons that expats come here and they take a L and end up going back home? Stay tuned for our next video where we're going to talk about what kind of woman are you looking for. That video is going to be interesting, so you'll be sure to want to check that out. If you like this video and you stayed this long, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and the best way to support our channel is to watch another one of our videos.
That's right. Good call. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Rich, I was watching YouTube while I was working. Welcome back to Rich.
Yeah. But before we get into that, I'm Richie Rich. But before we get into that, welcome back to Richie Rich.
So how about language barriers? Do you think that a lot
What's
of
a barrier?
Like a hindrance?
Barrier.
A barrier.
Yeah, it's not a barrier.
Okay, barrier. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So what about language barrier? Do you think that it's a reason why a lot of expats...
Plural. Barriers. Language barriers.
Okay, barriers. 3, 2, 1.
And this should be interesting. And that video should be that video is going to be interesting. So you'll be sure to want to check that out.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's it. Right. Yeah.
If you like this video, don't forget that we have other videos that are just as good, if not better. So check those out too. In the meantime,
for Richie Rich Abroad, I'm Richie Rich.
And this is Chang.
And we're out.
Deuces.